Do you have a nagging feeling in your soul that you should be doing more with your life? And you've been on this quest for who knows how long in search for more direction or meaning, purpose, or just more importantly, work that actually lights up your soul. And you've tried so many different things. You've changed jobs, you've changed companies, you might have even changed professions, or might have even made a lot of money during the process, but yet it still doesn't feel enough, or that you've found that peace from this nagging feeling, and you're going like, oh my God, like what is going on? Like I'm doing everything that I can, and why is it still not enough? Sorry, as you can tell, I'm a little passionate about this topic. Hi, I'm Jacqueline, and welcome. We at Joyful Living Mindset are so excited that you're here because we believe that you have a great gift within you that's going to uplift humanity in some significant way. And we're here to help you navigate that journey and live your truth. What I have found is that this nagging feeling that drives us to search for more purpose and meaning in our life can oftentimes drive us absolutely insane. It's like we're constantly playing Marco Polo with this soul of ours and this supposed purpose and direction and meaning, a deeper purpose, meaning, direction that we're searching in our life. And you know, we hear it, we know that it exists, but we just can't seem to get kind of feel it or touch it or get close enough to it. And it's kind of like, have you ever had this craving and you don't know what it is? You know that you're just like craving something. You don't know if it's sweet or savory or tangy or it's like something fresh. So you go to your kitchen, you open the fridge door, and you're just standing there and just scanning up and down your kitchen, your refrigerator shelves, and just trying to figure out like what could you eat that could somehow satisfy that craving. You're like, oh, okay, let me try this pudding. And you go and you take the pudding, you eat some pudding, and you're like, no, still not it. That's not it. And so you move on to your pantry and you're scanning the shelves of your pantry and you're like, should I go for the bag of Doritos or should I go for this bag of beef jerky? Is it savory? Or maybe these Twizzlers that's sitting in here. And so you end up trying like, okay, let me try the bag of Doritos. And you know, you dig into the bag of Doritos and you're like, nope, still not it. You're like, maybe something sweet, maybe I'll go for the Twizzlers, maybe, you know, nope, still not it. And it's like you go on this process of trial and error, and before you know it, you've gone through all of these junk food that you certainly didn't need, and you still haven't satisfied your craving, and you're like, it's so frustrating. You're like, forget it. And then you just storm off and go back into your office and go back to work. And that's really how a lot of times we approach our search for our purpose, right? We kind of go through life and try to find it via trial and error of like, maybe if I change my job, maybe if I change companies, maybe if I even change professions, maybe if I even move to a different city, a different state, or a different country, or whatever it is, and we're searching for some external environmental change in hopes of perhaps landing on or stumbling on our purpose, and where we can say like, aha, like found it. And a lot of times, you know, we also rely on searches and gurus and what are the experts saying out there in terms of how to find your purpose. Some experts that I have come across have said that, just turn to what you're passionate about, like I shared in the previous video. And you're like, well, what if I have multiple passions? Like, how do I know which one to go after? And they're like, oh, okay, so you're multi-passionate. You're a multi-passionate person, so just pick one. As long as you're doing work that you love, it doesn't really matter, right? And then there are some other experts who say, well, your purpose will change as you navigate through life, and you'll have a purpose for a particular season of your life. So for instance, a very popular one would be, I want to provide a better life for my children. And that in itself actually isn't a purpose. And I'll explain a little bit down further in this video. But all of these searches and externally doesn't work, because here's actually like 3 key attributes to discovering your purpose and what your purpose is. And then I'll go into like the first step of how to discover your purpose. So first, you have to understand that your purpose cannot be revealed through external circumstances. It can only be revealed through internal reflection. So you can't go through trial and error and say, oh, try this job, or try doing learning this skill, or whatever it is, and seeing that it may be that like you have some connection to that. It's really just taking time to do internal reflection of what your purpose might be. And I'll walk you through that in the 5-step of how to discover your purpose in a few minutes. So that's first and foremost for you to understand. The second is that your purpose is a very personal mission that you're here to fulfill. And whereas though your purpose does serve as a greater gift for humanity, but it also serves as a something very personal for you, that you, it's like a wrong that you need to right for your own personal peace of mind, right? And it's think of it as it's a stand that you are making for yourself to honor all the pain and sacrifice that you had to go through. And the gift from that is for you to realize that, oh, you went through all of that, so that you now can recognize that that is something that no one ever should have to go through. And you're going to dedicate your life to making sure that no one else ever has to experience that pain again. And it speaks to why you had to go through that pain. It speaks to how you're going to right that wrong, and how you're going to, in your work going forward, in your gift and your work going forward, how that's gonna honor you and your sacrifice, and for you to make a stand that, hey, I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna honor you by making sure that no one else ever has to go through that again, right? And it's like a stand that you make for yourself, for your younger self who had to go through that. And you, in your present self now, fully capable, strong and aware, and have all this knowledge and skills and wisdom, that you kind of are going back to honor your younger self and carrying that forth in the work that you do going forward. So going back to the example that I shared earlier of people saying, well, I want to ensure that my children have a better life. Well, that isn't quite your purpose, because one, who determines what is better, you or your children, right? And so that's up for, it's very subjective. So it's not something very definitive that you can claim yourself as, this is how I make life better, ensure that my children has a better life, right? Because they may have a totally different perspective of what a better life is from their point of view. And if you try to impose and force your values onto your children of like, this is the better life and this is what you should be living, you just end up creating rift between you and your children rather than creating connection and bonding with them, right? However, if you were to take that and shift it a little bit and say, well, my purpose is to ensure that no child ever has to live on the streets, beg for food, and be at the mercy of others just to survive. Now, that becomes something so specific relating to maybe something that you've experienced in the past, right? Where you had to go through that and gone through some hardship, and you feel like, gosh, like no one should ever have to go through this. And that becomes more of something like a strong and personal purpose and mission that you're here to dedicate your life to ensuring, right? And then the third is that your purpose is a constant is a constant mission. It may evolve as you yourself evolve and become more mature and have more awareness and build more skills and capabilities in terms of how you are going to carry out the work of your purpose. But the underlying and the underlying meaning and the heart of your purpose will always remain a constant and will always ring true in everything that you do. So, for instance, going back to that example that I just gave earlier, if ensuring that no child ever has to sleep on the streets, beg for food, or be at the mercy of people to survive, right? That then becomes something like at the heart of your purpose, and it translates into how you're so dedicated to making sure that you provide a better life and future for your children and your family, right? And that's what you're devoted to doing for your children and your family. But it could also expand to beyond your family and beyond your children, where it can translate and expand into doing philanthropic work to ensure that every child has equal access and ability to survive and thrive and have the skills and resources necessary to survive and thrive, right? Whether that could be sent it through philanthropic work, or maybe even creating a youth mentoring program, or whatever that may be, right? So you can see that how something at the core of your purpose is something so personal that you're wanting to honor and right or wrong for yourself, that's also going to serve as a greater gift for humanity. Now, it not only serves for your children, benefits you honoring yourself, it benefits your children, but now it can expand and translate to benefiting the whole of humanity, right? It's just very similar to this concept that Simon Sinek often speaks about, the infinite game, where that is based, your true life's purpose remains a constant, right? It's kind of like our North Star. It is something that is a guiding principle in everything that you do, the direction that you steer your life, your values, your interests, your passion, and all of that, right? It never changes. It's a long game that you're playing, and you may deliver, the vehicle in which you deliver that work may evolve as you progress through life, as you become more aware, as you develop more skills and capabilities. But in general, it's all in the name of your higher and true life's purpose, right? So those are kind of like the three key attributes that I really hope and want you to really ground yourself in as you're delving on this path of discovering your purpose. And for me, I want to I want to kind of pay it forward to help you get a clear answer and a clear methodology for discovering your purpose, because I know it took me so long, so many trial and errors for me to actually find and really discover and connect to what my true life's purpose really is. So I want to pay it forward to help more people live with purpose and wealth and abundance without compromising their soul or peace of mind, right? And so that leads us into the 5 steps of how to discover your purpose. And this video is going to cover step number 1, like the very first step of discovering your purpose. The very first step is called identifying your catalyst. And your catalyst is a moment in time in your life previously. And it doesn't matter what age it is. What matters is that it is something that you have either experienced or witnessed. It's a heartbreaking pain that you have either personally experienced or witnessed that is such a blatant violation of love that your soul cannot stand still and just feels like you need to do something about it. And even as how many years have passed or decades have passed, when you think back about that incident, you can see that the pain from that is kind of like the common theme of what you either witnessed or have experienced growing up or in your younger years. And it's also the common theme of why you are who you are today and why you're living the life that you're living today and doing the work that you're doing today, right? It's just a common theme. And it's something that, because it's such a heartbreaking pain and a blatant violation of love, that it oftentimes creates a deeper connection with higher power, right? Of asking of because it makes you question your very existence and humanity, of like, is this all there is? That is this what I'm supposed to be living? Is this how humanity is, right? And so it forces you to ask like these really big and profound and difficult questions that you have to face. It's like, why do I have to go through this? Like what is fundamentally wrong with me that I have to experience this? Or is this what humanity should really be like? Right? And so because you're asking those deeper questions and inquiry, that it oftentimes through those deep inner reflection and questions, it creates a deeper connection with higher power, because you're asking such higher questions, right? That higher wisdom and higher power can provide comfort and answers to, because it's just something that you're like, gosh, this never should happen, and so why is it happening? So there's got to be a higher reason for that, right? So you think about a catalyst. Now, I'll have to say that of past 5 years or so, of all the clients, of all the people that I've talked to, I would say about 90 to 95% of the time, the catalyst will pertain to this heartbreaking pain that I just shared with you, right? It's some heartbreaking pain that is such a blatant violation of love, right? There are just a rare few that I have met, named probably 5% or so, that say, well, my childhood was actually pretty great. I don't really have any heartbreaking pain, but it's more of like this infatuation and this innovative idea, like they're so passionate about, it drives them to more joy, and they just can't wait to work on, explore more, and bring this work to the world, right? So there are some cases of that. It's like, again, I say it's rarer than the majority. The majority that I have worked with and have encountered has been around a heartbreaking pain that they've either witnessed or experienced themselves that is such a blatant violation of love or justice that that becomes the basis of their purpose. So I'll give you an example. For me, my catalyst was going back in my life of everything that I've experienced. There is actually one thing that stands out to me than all the rest. And that's what your catalyst does. You look back, you're like, oh my gosh, you know what? There's one particular incident that stands out among all the rest, because it's kind of like the common theme that plays out for all the other experiences. So for me, it was back in ninth grade when I was 14 years old. And I think it's 14, 13, 14, can't remember, around that age. And I was left waiting in the car line, the curb of the car line, until about 9 o'clock at night, because my family, none of my family, not my mom, not my dad, not my brothers, nobody realized that I was missing or that I still needed to be picked up. And I remember that night coming home. Now, this is, mind you, this is before cell phone days, right? So it's not easy, convenient where you can just text or call to let your family or whoever needs to pick you up to pick you up. And thank goodness I had a geometry teacher that night who stayed late to tutor some students, and she came out and saw me there. And then I was able to, she walked me to the office for me to call home to have someone come pick me up. But I remember that night, it was, to me, it was the epitome, it represented to me like the common theme of like, I felt so alone and unloved and forgotten, and that my existence just doesn't matter, right? And that was a catalyst for me of like, that is, to me, it's like, it's such a blatant violation of love that growing up now, when I'm able to look back on that and reflect on that and be able to extract the meaning and the gift out of that incident, it is so that I can make sure that no one ever has to go through that again, right? Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself, because there's 4 other steps, and I'll explain a little bit more as we go through in subsequent videos and how that plays out. But that to me is the catalyst. And one thing I'll just leave you on this is that your purpose, your true life's purpose, is something so personal that you're honoring and a right that you're a wrong that you're righting, right? But in that, it's also allowing you an opportunity to make peace with your past as well, right? It allows you to see like, oh, I see now. It allows you to stand on your story and on your pain, not in your pain, because then it'll allow you to see like, oh, I see now. I see why that had to be my truth. I see why I had to go through that, why that had to be my truth, so that I can have the wherewithal, the gift, and be led on this path, and to be doing this work that I'm supposed to be doing in the world, and bringing this work and this gift to help the greater humanity, so that no one ever has to go through that again, right? That I was chosen specifically, like that was my divine assignment. Like that is why I had to go through that in order for me to make the impact that I'm here to be making in the world in such a meaningful way that honors my younger self, that honors and makes peace with my past, and serves the people that I love in my life, my family, my children, but also the greater humanity. So that's, to me, it is why taking the time to discover what your true life's purpose is so important and valuable is not only so that you can do more meaningful work in the world and have more peace of mind, right? And not like just driving yourself crazy trying to figure out like, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? But it's also, and obviously making a very meaningful impact in the world and for humanity. but it helps you to honor yourself. It's very personal. It's something that you are honoring your younger self for the pain and sacrifice you had to go through in order for you to have the strength, the awareness, the skills, and everything to be doing this meaningful work and impacting the world in a way that it is so meaningful and fulfilling for you. And it also helps you, again, to make peace of your past again and realize that, oh, I went through that not because there's something wrong with me. It's not because I drew the short end of the stick. It's not because I was punished or forgotten. It wasn't and it also wasn't because my family, my loved ones, or my role models were bad people, right? It was just that they had their own journey, and we have, each of us have our own journey, and we're just all humans having a human experience and bumping into one another and experiencing and interacting with one another with our own journey. So that has helped me a lot in looking through this process of making peace with my past, and also being able to forgive and have more compassion for my family, and realizing that, wow, looking back, it wasn't because they're bad people, they didn't care about me or whatnot, but that was what my perception was at that point in time, 13, 14-year-old, right? For me to have that perception so that I can do something about it in the world later on when I grow up. So anyways, I hope that helps. I know that was a lot that I uncovered today. Like I said, the conversation of purpose, there's a lot to it, but if you have any comments, any questions, any clarifications that you need, feel free to please pop it in the comment. I'd love to read through them and support you further in any way that I can. If I feel like there's a lot of comments or questions around a certain area to dive deeper in, I'd be happy to make a special video to dive into that, to help you get a better understanding as you are navigating the journey of discovering your purpose. But until then, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.